Hello, hello! Welcome to the Sinners.
Hello, Purity. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks.
And you are, of course, the creator of BFF or Die.
That's right. I'm Shaz, so I'm the designer. There's three of us working on it from Honey Tribe Studios, and hopefully it'll be coming out later this year.
Well, it looks like a fantastic game. Just what made you guys think of doing this game?
Combination of factors, really. I guess a few years ago, I used to play a lot of multiplayer games on GameCube. So I used to go around to some friends' house, and we'd play the same, like Monkey Ball, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Bomberman. We'd play these kind of games pretty much every weekend. And then more recently, last year in fact, I played a local multi that someone had made just for a game jam where you held the controller together. And I thought, and it reminded me of Micro Machines, which was another game we used to play. And I just suddenly thought, yeah, let's make a multiplayer game, a local multiplayer game, just kind of like the stuff I used to play with my friends.
Now, are you ever going to do it as an online for those that don't have their friends close by?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different things we want to add to it this year. So online multiplayer would be one of them, as well as a dedicated one-player mode. So at the moment, the way we've been building it is, so we'll make a demo, and then I'll go out and I'll test it either at local gamer events or at bigger game events where it's you get a lot of gamers in the same place. And then we change it and iterate and change it. So building it in local multiplayer has been a really good way to test the game and make sure that it is actually a lot of fun to play.
Now, what engine do you use to design this game?
So we're using Unity. It's the only engine. There is no other option for you indie devs.
Shh. No one tell him about the other engines that are out there. He must not know.
Bow down before the might of Unity.
Now, there's always been a thing with Unity games. They're usually generally horrible. How did you get past that and actually make a good game?
Usually horrible. Well, I guess we must have played different games. Well, I mean, the good thing about Unity is it lets you do some things quickly. For instance, you can see from this game, it's all about lighting, and it's about light and dark. So we were able to implement that fairly quickly, for example. So when we first got our demo together, just to check, is this any fun? Just after a few weeks, we'd go out and test that and straight away say, yes, this is fun. Let's keep developing it more. So Unity is great for being able to do certain things very quickly.
Now,
So,
are you looking to release this on Steam? Or does this
yeah.
have a green light?
No, we haven't put it on Greenlight yet. I don't know if I want to put it on Greenlight yet. But yeah, we do want to be on Steam when it's finished and when it's ready to go on. I mean, possibly even as an early access before that, depending. I don't know. We have to think about what seems right for this game. But yeah, Steam eventually, definitely.
Now, do you guys in the chat have any questions for him? Because this is a game designer, guys. He won't bite your head off.
Well, so some of the other people would who are not game designers.
We've had some fun people who wouldn't answer questions.
Oh, really? Okay.
Now, after this, what other games are you planning on working on, or what are you guys working on as you're working on this?
Um, lately there's a particular venue in London that I go to where a lot of developers hang out and a lot of just normal gamers hang out as well. And they have a lot of board games there. So I've been getting into board games recently, which is not something that I really used to do, but it kind of follows on from this thing of co-op I've had recently, and the whole social atmosphere that you get around a board game can be often a lot better than when you're playing your average multiplayer video game together. So possibly I might make a board game. I don't know. I have put some prototypes together just on paper. So we'll see if I want to take it further than that.
I think that might be interesting. And we have somebody asking, what is your favorite type of ice cream? Really, guys? We were going to get rid of that question.
Recently, I had ice cream for the first time in about a year and a half because I'd self-imposed a junk food ban on myself. And I had Ben& Jerry's chocolate brownie, and it was great. It was the best ice cream I've ever had in the world ever.
Oh, a self-imposed junk food? No junk food? That's terrible. How could you torture yourself like that?
Oh, I go through these different stages of nutrition. I decide to do different things. I decided, right, that's it, no junk food for from now. And then recently I decided to stop doing that. But it lasted about a year and a half. It's interesting to do. It's
Um,
quite, it's like a challenge when you go into the supermarket and there's loads of this like cheap chocolate biscuits or cookies, I guess you might call them, and cakes and things. And you look at them and you think, no, fuck you, I'm not going to have you. I win.
and then eventually you break down and have one anyway.
Yeah, but only after a year and a half. That's pretty good.
Yeah. They're asking, will you be able to play this four-player with only two remotes? What?
Yes. So the way we've got it set up at the moment is you have shared controllers. So you can have two people on the keyboard at the same time, and you can have two people on a single control pad at the same time. So you can have two control pads, two people on each one for four people. So it's all very much shared control pads at the moment.
Now I just picture everyone scrunched together trying to play, and that's actually kind of funny.
It works. I mean, I don't know if you used to play Micro Machines many years ago, but that's where I first came across that, and it does actually work very well. Because typically you're going to be playing with either friends or family that you know very well, so there's not going to be any uncomfortableness.
Alex asked, how long did it take you to get this far into designing the game?
So we started last year in February, and there's three of us, and we've all been doing it kind of part-time, working on it whenever we can. So the plan is this year to get some funding together so we can actually go and work on it full-time and get it properly finished.
So are you guys going to be starting in a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo or a Patreon?
Maybe, yes. We're still figuring out what's the best way to do this, really. I mean, at the moment, we put out a public alpha so that anyone can download it, and we're just trying to really build up an audience of people who actually really, really enjoy the game. Because when I go to game events to test it, I can see that people properly get into it. I mean, I think you may have seen the videos. I probably sent you some links of when I've been recording people play at game events.
Just a few.
Yeah, so the response has been so good. This has been the thing that's motivating us really to like think, wow, if the response is this good in this kind of just this game event, well, we can expand that further. So yeah, so we want to build up some kind of audience, and then decide, is Kickstarter the right thing? Is that something we can do? Is it gonna work out? If it is, yes. If not, let's think about something else. So yeah, so that kind of stuff we haven't figured out yet.
Now, well, if you do, we'll definitely support you and do some videos for you guys.
Cool, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now they're asking, has the game come out so far the way you originally planned?
Actually, mostly, yes. It's because, like I said, because we started testing very early on, like literally no graphics, just cubes, rectangles, and the very, very basic mechanic of you have the light shining at the bottom, and the rest of the maze is dark. Just from that, and when I started just getting some developer friends to test it, I could see that it worked. And then because we've always done testing, work on it, testing, work on it, testing, work on it, just constantly, we've been able to create the experience that I thought of first on paper before we put any code down. So, and it's so satisfying, when you think, okay, I think in my mind, this is how the player is going to respond. They're going to react like this. Then when they actually do, it's really, really nice. So yeah, it's pretty much working out as I hoped it would be, really.
Now, what exactly are the little creatures that you're playing? Are they rabbits or aliens?
So if they they're aliens. So if they go to the website page, if you put the link up, you'll see the nice new kind of splash page that our artist Alex has made. So they'll see that they're aliens, and what they are is they're time-traveling aliens. They're from this advanced species somewhere out there in space, and they go through time, just documenting everything because they're like the universe's historians, and they have now crash-landed in ancient Egypt in Earth, and they have to figure out how to get back home because their stuff has malfunctioned.
It's actually pretty interesting story-wise. Now, are you going to have full voice acting and all that when this game actually does come out?
See, we've planned this this quite, I won't say big story, but this story around which all the gameplay exists and makes sense, and how this world can be really linked in with the gameplay. But really, I mean, I'm still thinking, how much story do we want to tell? Perhaps that's, I mean, it's possibly more for a one-player mode rather than a multiplayer mode that you'd want a story as a gamer. But it's something we have. So we have a story written out, but we're not completely sure how much of that story we should or need to tell in order to get the best experience. So we don't know yet.
Now, are there going to be sequels if this does get successful? Are we going to learn more about these aliens?
So that, yeah, so hopefully we can bring out this story to fruition somehow, and I mean, it's quite, I don't know how much I want to give away, but it's quite a comedic story, as I don't know, you might be able to tell from looking at the gameplay, and I quite like, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe subversive stories, or stories that are slightly different from the norm. So hopefully, yeah, I mean, the plan is, if we can get the same reaction kind of online as we've been getting at game events, then the game could become, yeah, really popular because of just how much fun people have when they play it and how much they get what we're trying to do. I mean, I don't stand there and say, this is what we're trying to do with this game, but just by playing it, instantly they feel like this is really fun to be a team, and they're talking to each other and saying, no, you do that, and pointing at the screen over there, no, you go that, and then they're laughing together, you know, which is what gaming is all about, I think, a lot of the time, what it should be about a lot of the time. So, hopefully, yes.
Teppa asks, have you considered a similar or Simish or gerbling for the voice acting, so that the people will be able to read it but still have the sounds of the creatures?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that could be an option. Well, one of the story aspects I was thinking of is that, because obviously they're not humans, so at the start you're in like a time academy. Your characters, they're all students. So one of them starts speaking in an Earth language, and the other one's replying in their native language. Oh, what are you talking about? I can't be bothered to learn Earth languages. It's stupid. Maybe one of them's speaking in ancient Greek, for example, because he's learned the wrong thing. So yeah, we could make kind of a comedic thing out of the languages, and maybe the gerbling could come into that. Again, we're not completely sure yet on all those kind of details, but yeah, that's definitely something to think about.
That sounds like it would actually be really funny to see. Especially if one of them just constantly speaks in the wrong Earth language.
He could go through, like, he's speaking Latin, ancient Greek, ancient Egyptian, or whatever we think ancient Egyptian is, and then yeah, eventually maybe he'll get to modern day English. Or
Wheezy asks, are you in the process of making more games? And can you tell us anything other than for the other games?
So before this, I made a bunch of mobile games. There's some interesting ones there, actually, and this is how I've sort of got to where I am and where my thinking is in game development in general. So I made one called Mukbank, which is all about hierarchy and control and freedom. It's quite kind of a, what's the word? It fits into the whole Occupy movement kind of thing in asking questions. So it's kind of an artsy, politically-ish kind of game. Then I made another game called Honey Tribe, which is because honeybees are dying out at the moment, so it kind of lets the player find out about that if they want to, but in a kind of cute way. So I've made games previously. At the moment, I'm pretty much focused on BFF or Die, because it's really easy to get distracted and think, okay, I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do this, and that's not conducive to getting things finished.
Now, Alex asked, here's a question. Are any of your previous designs for the BFF game in any of your other games?
I can't say no, we've not used either any gameplay or characters or anything like that from old games in BFF or Die. I mean, it's a completely new team working on BFF or Die, so this is the first game that all three of us have worked on together. But there would have been loads of kind of indirect things that I would have learned through those other games that I've now kind of brought forward in my thinking, but no direct kind of gameplay aspects or assets or anything like that, no.
Now, going from mobile games to a PC game, how does it feel having to transition from one to the other?
It's actually it's feeling a lot more um, like familiar territory actually, in terms of okay, so we make this thing, we think it's good, we've kind of showed it to a small group of people, and they seem to think it's good. How can we get other people to know about it? And the people who are really into games, is this is something they want to do with their time, either writing about it or making videos about it or blogging about it or just doing it socially at the weekend with their friends. I think really most of those people are on either PC or console at the moment. Um, this is the impression I get. Whereas I think a lot of people play mobile games, but not in a kind of, I suppose it's not really their passion or their like real hobby. I mean, some people I'm sure they will be, um, but I get the feeling that the people who really care about gaming are on either PC or console. So it feels like a better territory to be in.
Now, do you hope to release this on PC and consoles?
Yeah, so I've just been accepted for one of the consoles developer programs, um, and I'm kind of on another, although not exactly yet. And I've submitted to be on the third as well. So hopefully, after we get the PC version working really well, we can then take it over to consoles. Yes.
Well, I can't wait. I'll definitely be playing it on PC and probably on the PlayStation 4 if you guys put it on there, or the Wii U.
Oh, have you got all of those? Have you?
I do. The only one I don't have is an Xbox One.
What have you been playing a lot lately on? Because I've been playing a few and watching a few Wii U games lately, and been quite impressed with some of those.
I've been doing mostly Wii U off on the side when I'm not recording, and really a lot more PC games for recording wise. I'm actually going to be streaming some PlayStation 3 and some old Wii games today.
Yeah, Wii and GameCube, they were great platforms. That was a lot of the time I spent doing multiplayer gaming. That the idea for this game came from.
The GameCube was amazing. It is a shame I got into it a little too late, though.
I'm sure it's still. I mean, even though it's whatever it is, 480 p or I or whatever the thing is, it's still. I'm sure the gameplay would still be great, even if you pick it up now as a modern gamer.
Oh, yeah. And we have one person asking, when do you expect the game to actually be released?
So it's in public alpha at the moment, so anyone can download it. And as to be when I'd say, okay, it's finished. Don't know. This year is our target. Definitely, this we can do that. But to when we say, okay, it's no longer in alpha or beta, but it's actually released, I can't say for sure. But definitely this year at some point. I mean, it's fun to play now. It's just it doesn't have all the all the bells and whistles and the polish and what you'd expect from a finished game.
Now, when it's released, are you going to be doing free DLC or special levels that people can download, or even levels that people can edit themselves and put up?
Yeah, that's something that our programmer Onjay, he had the idea. He wanted to make some kind of level editor, which I thought was a great idea. Because at the moment it's semi-randomized all the levels. So if you do one level and then maybe if you don't do it and you play it again, uh, you'll get a completely different maze. And then there are kind of puzzle aspects which are semi-randomized. But we were thinking to have a level editor so you can all the pieces that you've seen so far. You can plug them together however you want and then send them to friends. As for DLC, it's not something I've thought about yet. At the moment, we're just concentrating on the actual game itself, not so much on. Okay, I'm putting inverted commas, fingers in the air, product of it, if you know what I mean. I mean, maybe I should be more business minded, but really, I'm just focused on how can we make this a really good gaming experience. So I've not even thought about DLC for the moment.
Well, I think a level editor might be neat because you can always do contests and stuff where the most fun levels they can win like a little prize or something like that. I think that'd be cool to do.
Yeah, it's definitely agree with the general principle of handing creativity over to the player. I think that is a good thing. So we're going to try and do something, yeah, along those lines.
We've got people asking, have you ever played the game Battle Block Theater? And if you did that give you any ideas for this game?
I've not played that one. No. What's that on? Or what it's about? What is it about?
Basically, you're playing two characters trying to survive, and they're going through all these puzzle levels together, and you're trying to keep the other player alive, or just trying to constantly kill them, as my co-hosts do when we play it.
Okay. No, well, it sounds interesting, but no, I've not played it.
See, guys, now we have something he can try out sometime.
Say the title again so I can remember it.
Battle Block Theater.
Battle Block Theatre. I'll have a look at that.
It is really fun multiplayer. Now we've got people asking, let's see, what computer specs will this game require?
Nothing too fancy because I have a really old, like 6-year-old MacBook that's really slow now, and it works fine. So, so you're not going to need the latest specs whatsoever. I mean, because this game is all about gameplay, and we're going to make it, look really welcoming and nice, but it's not going to be about having new graphics chips and having to render a billion things at the same time. It's about the gameplay, so it won't need high spec computers.
As someone that does a lot of PC gaming, thank you.
And then you can run video capture at the same time, and you'll be fine.
Yes. I'm so sick of them going, all right, you're going to need this card, and DirectX 59.
Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, I've never, for the last few years, I've not been interested in like the big, huge, sort of multi-$100 million games where there's 100 artists working on it, and it's you need the fastest settings in it just to run it. So I'm just interested in gameplay experience. That's what this game's all about.
Now, I've got to ask, how did you decide to make a honeybee your mascot for your group?
Because that was the first game, Honey Tribe. So that little guy's called Corby. He's got a friend called Phoebe. You see what we did with the names there. And so I thought it would just be impractical to have a studio name that's different from the first game and have to have two different websites. So we went with Honey Tribe Studios, and I quite like him now. He's quite a nice little mascot, I think.
He is cute. When are you going to do keychains for him?
I have no idea.
Now, is he going to show up anywhere in this game, or is that going to be a surprise?
He doesn't really fit into this world. Maybe it'd be quite a funny thing to do somewhere. I hadn't actually thought of that, to be honest.
Well, the Egyptians did use honeybees a lot.
That's true. He could be one of the hieroglyphics, maybe. That could be good.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Oh, because another thing I was thinking of, again, I'll reference my comment earlier when I was saying you can have a million thoughts and ideas, and that's not conducive to finishing things. But having said that, one of the other ideas I thought of in the game is, because obviously you've got the light that you shine, and you can shine it on the back wall, and you can see some of that. So we could put hidden messages all over the back wall and the sides of the wall, for either comedic value or just actually pointing you for kind of extras and puzzles in the game that you can unlock. So yeah, that could be incorporated into that, like the Corby popping up and stuff like that.
That would be neat. Now, how exactly did you meet the other designers on the game? Were you all friends before you started working on this game? Or did you all meet at a gaming convention?
No, actually, we met online, and we just got really lucky, I guess, that we've kind of gelled into this really effective team. So the programmer's a guy called Ange, and he just emailed me out of the blue and said, "Hey, I'm a programmer. Have you got any projects I can jump on?" So I'd already kind of had the basic gameplay in mind for this game, just like as a coincidence, because I'd played that. It was after the Global Game Jam of 2014, and I'd played something that someone had made, and like I said, where they were sharing controllers, and that's when I said, right, I'm going to make a multiplayer game. And then it could have been, I can't remember when, but it could have been a week after or a few days after, Ange happened to email me or contact me. So we chatted for a bit, figured out what could we work together, what could we do. Then he put out a little demo kind of in Unity just to make sure he was fine with Unity. He's been a programmer for a long time, so he really does know his stuff, but he'd not used Unity before. But yeah, he got to grips with it really quick. And then we made a quick demo of BFF after, well, I wrote a design first and got a few developer friends just to comment on it and see what they think, change it a bit. And then use that plan to make the basic demo. And then we just went from there, and he's in London as well, so we were able to meet up. And we just got really, well, I consider that I got really lucky because he's a really, really good programmer, and as like a team, we get on really well. And then later on, when we had a demo, we thought, right, we need some art. I was just looking around online, and I came across Alex's post on, I think it was TIG forums, and I really liked his portfolio of stuff that he'd done before. I thought this is going to be perfect. I don't know what our theme is going to be. I don't know what art style it should have, but I kind of had a very vague concept of it should be very good at representational rather than realistic, which is what I got from his work. And yeah, contacted him and he said, yeah, I like the demo. Jumped on board, and yeah, it's gone really well since then.
Now, how did you come up with the name BFF or Die?
BFF or Die. I don't know. How do you come up with names? I guess you think of different things, and I always like going with slightly, not always, but sometimes like going with slightly comedic titles. I thought we wanted to get across. It's all about cooperation. This game, so you got to communicate if you're going to win. But it's not an ultra serious game. You have a lot of fun playing in it. It's going to have a lot of funny moments, and you need to rely on each other. Otherwise, you're going to lose. So yeah, that seemed like a good choice, and it's kind of stuck.
Now, are you going to punish the players when they get the other player killed? Because let's face it, people love doing that.
It's funny you mentioned that, actually. It used to be that let's say there's four of you, for example, playing at the same time. It used to be that if one of you were to die, the whole team would lose. You'd all be game over. And I was noticing as people were playing it, the person who would lose and stitch up the team. Let's imagine you've done this level, taken you whatever 5 minutes. It's been a really intense level, and just at the last minute, shit, you've messed up. That person would actually feel guilty, and you can see it on their face. And I decided that actually let's not have anyone feeling guilty. Let's remove that feeling from the game. So now, if one of you dies, only that one dies, and someone can revive them, they can rescue them. Which works really well because it ties into the whole to finish a level you have to high five as well. So we did used to have that, and we decided to take that away because there's a particular experience or feeling I want people to have when they're playing it, and guilt was not one of them.
That's actually pretty good. Most games they'll just like, oh, you've just screwed it for the rest of the team. Good going there.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and that could be a legitimate thing that you want to encourage, like a variety of emotions. But really, this game is all about like I want to feel good playing with my friends. I want to feel that we're like a solid team, and we're kind of on this kind of little puzzle adventure together. Not that we're shouting at each other and thinking, "Oh, you idiot, what have you done?" But
now, Reaper asks, the ultimate British test, red or brown sauce on a fry. I have no idea what that means. I'm sorry.
Well, she means either ketchup or some brown sauce. I'll go for ketchup.
See, there we go. I'm with you on that. And let's see. Are you going to be adding any anti-piracy things to this game when it is released?
Well, if it goes on Steam, that's kind of their closed system, so that kind of happens automatically through the system. But for non-Steam, like if we've got an Humble Bundle, that has nothing on it, no anti-piracy stuff, and I think I'll be fine with that.
Now, let's see. Any plans for a hard mode with the instant failure intact?
That could be a good idea, actually, just as an option, so that by default it's not on, but you can change it if you, yeah, that could be good actually, because obviously, yeah, it does make it for a very different experience. Like I'd watch people play, and the game kind of looks cute, but it's funny how intense people find it. You get really like they get properly absorbed, and they really don't want to lose and don't want to die and don't want to get caught by those mummies. And when they almost do, you do get some really kind of intense gameplay. So yeah, that could be a good idea actually to add it just as an option.
See, now that you've said that, if there's a hard mode, they're gonna make me play it.
Well, you can decide what experience you want.
Let's see. Do you guys have any other questions?
I didn't actually realize it was going to be a live stream kind of thing.
Oh
But
yeah, I'm sorry. I should have told you we always do our questions live because the fans get mad if they don't get to ask questions.
no, it's nice. It's good. I like it. So, hello to anyone who's listening.
We've got quite a big room, and they're actually quite enjoying you. I think they're enjoying you more than when we have voice actors on.
Okay, cool. It's nice to know.
Oh, wait, was there another voice there for a moment? What the heck was
No,
that? Do you have someone else hidden in that room?
I don't. It's just me, I'm afraid. Just me and my multiple brains.
Now, Reaper asks, for recording games, Unity has often had a few compatibility issues. Do you plan to do anything to make it a little more fluid for people that are recording it?
I don't know what those issues are. What are they? Because when I do screen capture, it's completely separate program. So I just screen capture what's ever on my screen. So how does the game get in the way of that?
Reaper, if you can elaborate, because I don't think I've had any problems using Bandicam with Unity. Other than if the game is just made poorly, it'll freeze up Unity, but that's the
Yeah,
game designer's fault.
yeah. If the game is taking a lot of your computer's either CPU or GPU, then yeah, the video capture might stutter or might pause or something. But that's not about kind of Unity. That's just a game taking up your computer's processor. And
Now, your artist is on the game. Does he design everything, the backgrounds and everything like that, or do you do any of the designing work for anything?
no, I don't draw at all. I do little horrible doodles and say, as in to describe mechanics and things like that. But for real art, no, never. In all of my games, I've never done any like. I mean, sometimes I might do buttons or kind of simple things, but not actual drawing. So Alex does everything. So he'll make us a sketch after. Well, actually, first we'll discuss everything and we'll say, okay, how about this kind of idea? And as long as all three of us want to do it, then we say, okay, let's do that. And then he'll make some kind of sketch. Usually he'll make up a bunch of different options. Then we'll kind of vote on it and decide what our favorite is, and then he'll turn it into a model or a
Nice.
texture or whatever it is he needs to do.
Now they're asking, what are the computer specs for the computers that are actually designing the game?
I don't know Andre and Alex's specs, to be honest. I've not asked them before. I know they're both on Windows, but other than that, I don't know what their specs are. And I've got just an old MacBook, just a standard MacBook, you know, those white ones. It's about 5 or 6 years old. So, I mean, that's the great thing about game development these days. Because of all the tools out there, things like Unity, you don't need a lot of expensive gear to make something and to get started. You can just jump in, and then it lowers the barrier a lot, so that more people can, try to make interesting things, which is how I've been able to operate.
Now they're asking, are there going to be any other hazards other than the mummies, like spikes, pits, all the
Yep, yep,
things
yep,
gamers hate?
yep. So a lot of the reaction, because I take it to game developer events, and obviously I watch people's reactions, but then I'll talk to them and what do they like? Have they got any ideas? And people always talk about Indiana Jones style moments because they already say it feels a little bit like that. And there's an old TV show called The Crystal Maze on UK TV that we used to have. So we're going to add loads of surprises in. So maybe at some point there'll be this trip switch on the floor, and a boulder will start chasing you, or arrows will come out, or just different surprises will happen. So, 'cause at the moment we have mummies, we have ghosts, and we have a third type of monster that doesn't have a model yet. And then we've also got a plan for several different time zones, and they'll all have a different set of hazards that'll be linked to the setting of the time zone that you're in. So yeah, loads more stuff.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Now the term is asking, when playing the game, does the color of the alien matter, and does it have different effects depending on which color alien you're playing when it comes to the machine?
No, so that's just so you can differentiate between them as you play. It's purposefully been designed so that you all have the same powers, but you alternate, you take turns in those abilities. So, if you're in the teleport drone, then obviously only you can do that and no one else can. But you can come out at any point and someone else can take over. So you can switch roles as much as you want. and that's been very much something we've done on purpose, so that no one's kind of stuck with the fast one or the slow one or the strong one, but it's rather you can change up your tactics however you want.
Now, are you going to be adding power ups to the game?
Yep. So we've got one kind of item at the moment, which is like an anti-grav box, and we want to put a bunch more things like that as well. Um, like on paper, we've got loads of different things planned out, so we just have to kind of go through them and decide which of these things really make the gameplay better, kind of work through them like that.
Now, how much time has actually been put into the game so far? How many hours?
It's hard to say really, because there have been some months where we've been like, even though we've been working at part time, like we've been on it solidly. Like Andre would come home from work, he's got a full-time job every day, and just be bang straight on a computer, just bashing out the code. And the same to me in terms of design and audio and going out to events, and the same with Alex. But then there have been other months where we've been a bit slow. We've had other things we've had to do. People have got to pay bills, family commitments, etc. So it's hard to say, but I would estimate. Let's say about, I don't know, 5 solid months each, 4 or 5 solid months each, if it was like a full-time thing. So
Wow.
3 people, I'd say roughly 5 solid months each, something like that.
This is looking good for a game that's only been around that long.
Yeah, I mean, because it's all about who you work with. It's like when I start a project, I have so much like enthusiasm and energy for it. I just go bang, and I just like to just burn through it. And I got really lucky in that Andre and Alex are both the same. So that means that it's not me saying, oh, have you got this ready? Can we get this done? But they're, piling on the ideas and saying, okay, I've done this, I've done this. And because we've all had that energy together, you all kind of keep motivated together and you keep going through. So yeah, I'm sure it's the same for a lot of developers or people who are in any kind of artistic field. It's your own kind of passion for it is what fuels it. That's how you keep going.
Basically, yeah. Everyone's asking, is there going to be a soundtrack available for this game? And if so, how much?
So the audio at the moment is all temporary. I make music as well, so I'll be doing the audio. And that was music I'd made for other stuff that I kind of put into the game just so that we had some audio. But yeah, I will get around to making the proper soundtrack, so it will have one. And whether it will be an actual soundtrack that you can download separately, I don't know, because I might make it an entirely dynamic soundtrack, meaning that instead of a linear like MP3 or whatever of a 5 minute track playing in the background, it could have lots and lots of different components that cut in and cut out depending on what's happening on the game, and they can combine in any kind of combination to always sound good. And at the same time, they're telling you something about what's happening in the game or expressing something about the feeling,
That
and that
would
will
be
change.
neat.
It's what
Um,
I've done before in other games, and lots of game jams as well. So something I like doing. So I imagine I will do that.
Reaper asked, what software do you use to make music?
I've got an old version of Pro Tools because before I started making games, I was making music for a long time. So it's something that I'm really comfortable with. Actually, at university, I did a course called commercial music. So since I was about 15, music kind of took over my life at that point. So I've been using that same program. I haven't updated it in years and years and years, and it works fine for me. It's even I use a Mac as well, but it's on an OS 9 machine that I make my music on. So it's very old.
They're asking where they can find your music at.
So if you go to the website, and there's a tab at the top of the screen that says music, and so that's got a bunch of videos which has different examples of game music I've done over the past couple of years. So feel free to listen to that. If they've got mobile devices, they should download Honey Tribe, because that has a really nice soundtrack to it as well. It's that dynamic music I was talking about. So different things happen in a game, which means different musical triggers happen, but they always fit together really nicely. And you should download Santa Rama. That has a really funny song that I made for a game jam called Molly Jam for a game called Monetizing Children. It's a satirical game, which I used again in this game called Santarama, which is also a satirical game. So yeah, you can watch the videos or download those and enjoy.
Reaper says you do industrial metal. His compliments to you.
Yeah, so basically when I was 15, I properly got into like Metallica was my first band, and then from there like Sepultura, Nine Inch Nails, Pitch Shifter, Paradise Lost, a bunch of stuff, and that was what I was wanting to do when I was younger, and that's kind of still part of the stuff that I listen to now. So it's still part of my music vocabulary.
See, now they've fallen in love with you. I'm sorry, but they may end up stalking you.
What are their favourite bands? Ask them, because I've got two playlists. I've got one which is All, which is every single song on Spotify that I know of that I like, which I add to regularly. So that has all my metal as well as all the calmer stuff. And I have one called Calm, which is purely calm stuff, which typically I listen to if I'm doing something difficult. So what are they listening to?
Alright, guys, give a shout out of the music that you guys normally listen to.
Also, if they are into their rock and their metal, tell them to listen to a band called Clone with a K, because they're not very well known, but they're really, really good. I just happened to stumble upon them, I think, either YouTube or Spotify. And it's kind of, they have elements of Tool in their vocal patterns, but I would call them a little bit heavier, maybe. And they're really good, worth looking out for.
They say Lamb of God, Metallica, Alicia, let's see, Air Supply. Really? Really, Air Supply?
It's okay. There's no prejudice for real musicians. You like what you like.
Tool, Lamb of God, a lot of people are saying, and Meshuggah. I am so sorry if I said that wrong.
Meshuggah! I don't know how to say it properly either. I think they're Swedish.
The only metal I do is Blind Guardian.
Blind Guardian? I don't know them, actually.
Oh, they're really good. They do, like, fantasy-style metal.
Okay, fair enough. Metal!
You have sent them onto the music craze. Thank you for that. We were just actually doing a game called Name That Cartoon Intro.
Okay.
Now, for the game, let's see what else
I'd be really good at that game if it was 80s cartoons. I'm pretty sure I know them all.
See, you should come join one of our streams. We do silly things like that. I was forcing them to listen to the DuckTales theme.
That is such a nice song, It's really...
It is.
All those 80s cartoons had the best intros, like sequences, like Thundercats, Transformers. Actually, Transformers music was actually a bit shit for the intros, but the visuals were good.
Yeah, but they always got stuck in your head for hours.
Yep.
Somebody goes Fall Out Boy. Yeah, we'll let you live. Let's see. They're asking if... Now they're all on metal. Great! They're asking if you like rap.
Nah, not really. I never have. It's just not been my thing. Actually now, a lot of the time I listen to music without any lyrics at all, and I generally prefer that, I'd be quite happy, like some of the heavy music I listen to, like Devil Driver, I'd be quite happy to have just the instrumental versions. I'm generally not interested in song lyrics anymore. I never have been, really. It's always about the music for me. So no, I don't like rap either. Sorry.
That's okay, neither am I. I like instrumental versions of a lot of songs. They're asking, what instruments do you have and what you can actually play?
So guitar is my main instrument, and it's what I used to spend all of my time doing when I was, 15 to 24, something like that. And then these days when I'm making music, I play stuff in on keyboard a lot. I wouldn't say I'm a keyboard player, it's just I'm quite percussive and I have a good sense of rhythm, so anything which has buttons of some sort, I can generally make something good on it.
Now they're asking, what kind of guitar do you have?
I have the same guitar that I bought when I was, 16, which is a BC Rich Bronze Edition. It's the same thing that, if they know a band called Sepultura, Max Cavalera used to play. Same brand, that spiky kind of shape. And then when I was older, I put different pickups on it, so it has proper pickups, so it actually sounds good. Some Seymour Duncans.
All right, now you guys are just getting silly with the questions.
Go on, what is it?
What's your favorite superhero?
Superhero. I don't really like the Marvel superheroes. I kind of find I'm a bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit of an old man, but I kind of find all that kind of big budget Hollywood stuff kind of boring. Sorry to all the fans. I know people love it. Fair enough. Um, I don't really like superheroes like that. I mean, I used to like the Turtles comics when I was younger, so I'll say Turtles, Ninja Turtles,
Yeah, Ninja Turtles.
the
Yeah,
the original Eastman and Laird ones.
yeah, they were good. The newer stuff, the new cartoon isn't bad, but that movie.
I've not seen it. I've not seen the 3D cartoon either. But they did. There was a cartoon series, not the newest, like a couple of because they've had loads of remakes, and they actually stuck to the comics. I don't know if you saw that one, and they stuck to the stories really well. And they even had some kind of like extended episode, like movie episode, where they had characters from all the different renditions of the old comics, and they kind of met in they were from parallel universes, and it was really well done.
Yeah, I've seen that one. It was funny. The new one actually does a lot of scenes from the old comics.
Okay, that's cool.
We've got Taco Man asking, have you thought of playing around with the history aspect outside of Egypt? You know, like making multiple ages to play through with various aspects of gameplay mixed in depending on the age.
Yep, exactly. So that is exactly what we have planned to do. So they're, like I said, they're going to be time traveling aliens. They get because what happens is the sort of the good students get invited on this kind of field trip to go to Earth. But because you're the not so good students, you're not allowed to go. So even though you want to, you can't. But then they go missing, and there's a distress signal, and you're the only people left, or the only aliens left. So you have to go and rescue them. So along the way, you're going to end up going through different time periods in Earth history. At the moment, we're thinking of medieval, but Transylvanian, so we can have vampires. And we were thinking of Aztec, but now possibly not, because it might visually be a bit too similar to Egyptian. We want to have modern day Earth as well, so then we can go and instead of mummies chasing you, it's like office managers and insurance salesmen and
How about like 70s disco, just a giant disco floor?
or something like that. Yes.
A bunch of disco guys chasing you, that would be hilarious.
And then we're thinking the last one would be maybe a couple of hundred years in our future, which is where kind of the story finally starts to make sense and it reveals how stuff has been going wrong and why you've been stuck there.
Is Judge Dredd going to chase them?
No superheroes, no.
I don't. Is he considered a superhero?
Pretty much. He's Isaac, well, comic book hero. That's a comic book.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, imagine getting chased by IRS folks. Someone said.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to put in, like office managers, like politicians. These, all the shitty aspects of modern life that you really don't need.
Somebody asked, "What's your favorite game of all time, other than ones you've made?"
I don't have a single game of all time, but I'd say there've been different games at different times in my life that I've enjoyed the most. So when I was a kid, stuff like on the Commodore 64, Last Ninja, on the Amiga, Speedball 2, then on Super Nintendo, Mario Kart, Secret of Mana, Zelda, then GameCube, Bomberman, Monkey Ball, Mario Kart. Also Halo we used to play, the original Halo. FIFA we used to play on PC and Worms on PC when we were teenagers.
Oh, Worms! That used to be so much fun.
Yeah, that was one of the original kind of multiplayer things we used to do. It's the same friends actually that I reference. We've been meeting up for years. So it's the same group. In more modern times, I guess Mass Effect, although it's quite old now, but the first Mass Effect was excellent, I thought, as a one-player game. In terms of really new, it's hard to think. I sometimes play tower defense games, kind of when I feel like, well, I don't want to actually do anything. I want to take a break. I'll play some kind of tower defense game, but I won't say it's kind of like something I just do sometimes when I just want to occupy myself without being too busy. But I won't say I kind of love them the same way I did with those older experiences. But there you go. That's my answer.
Somebody asked, will PETA be chasing them? Really?
Say again?
Will PETA be chasing them?
PETA, oh, the animal rights thing, is
Yeah.
that? That's an American thing, so I don't have a huge amount of knowledge about them. But no, they're not animals, they're aliens.
See, guys, no PETA. Sorry. Although that would be really funny.
I think they've got a reputation of being quite aggressive, is that right?
Yes, very. I guess they could mistake the aliens for little bunny rabbits that they experimented on or something.
And then seek to protect them by enslaving them somehow.
Yeah, there we go. A bonus level, guys. Now, let's see. What else are they asking? I think they're running out of steam. Wow. Okay, Term asks...
Okay, let me, a question for them. Do they often play local multiplayer, or are they more likely to play online games?
You heard him, guys. What do you play more, with your friends at home or online? I know I'm more of an online multiplayer, but that's just me. It's because I have no real friends.
And if there was a game like this, which for the moment has no online, would there be any game which they would look at and they think, right, I'm going to invite my friends around just to play this, even though they might not usually... Is it possible that such a game exists? Would they even consider doing that if it's not their normal habit?
A lot of people are saying online. But I can see this being a really fun party game, where everyone just sits around and plays it, and passes the controller around. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's been designed. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty, just from general reading around and asking people, it's pretty clear we're going to have to make it online as well. But that's obviously a lot more challenging in terms of the coding and stuff. So we have to get to that in due time. So no one's playing local at all from your group there.
It looks like everyone's doing it online. Now, what you could do if you end up doing online is you could let people host their own servers type of thing, similar to how Minecraft did it at first.
Yeah, exactly. So there's another developer in London, and that's what they're doing. They're making a game called Tango Fiesta, and it just seems like it makes a lot of sense because it's not competitive, it's co-op. Then that should work out fine. That one person is the host, and then his friends connect to that, or her friends connect to that, and that. I haven't looked into all the details, but I reckon that's something we'd end up doing.
Well, I'd be totally in for that. I wish I had somebody here to play this with me, but unfortunately I don't.
Well, you can make some new friends and invite them around just to play it. And they'll become your BFF. This is what happens whenever you play this with a stranger. They become your BFF. Happens every time. I've seen people get jobs based on playing this game together, and that is not a lie.
There we go. There's a good tagline. Play this game, guaranteed job.
It could be part of the election. We guarantee 100% employment after you play BFF or not.
There you go. Make a fake commercial like that. That would be awesome.
Actually, that would be quite funny.
We've got one person that says, I love local co-op.
Good. I vote that person.
There you go. See, a bunch of people are saying local co-op doesn't really work on PCs. Guys, he's going to be putting it on consoles too.
When they say it doesn't work on PCs, is that because they think there's a controls issue, or it's just what?
That's what I'm thinking. Well, I'm thinking because most people have their PCs set up to smaller screens.
Okay.
I have mine on a 40-inch, so...
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on, your habits, but, because I was going online in some of the Reddit forums, and there are a bunch of people, they'll take stuff on laptop and connect it to a bigger TV, like house sharing or whatever. So some people do it, but I can understand how it's just not the default habit for a lot of people.
Now, we do have somebody asking, in the game, why does the mouse-looking thing, I'm reading what they're saying, shake back and forth?
Okay, so what that is a decoy. So what happens is, let's say for example it's two people playing for the moment. So one person is inside the light and they're guiding the light, and the other person is walking around the maze. So the character in the maze, they can drop a decoy and they can put it wherever they want, but it's the person in the light who, if they zap the monsters, it means the decoy will be activated, and for a short time, those monsters will head towards that decoy. So it's like a big, shaky, like fake character saying, "Come over here, come and get me." I'm waving and dancing as I say this, but you can't see.
See, we should have had the webcams on, 'cause that would have been great.
But yeah, so it's like a kind of a dummy character that's up for about 5 seconds.
See, that's kind of neat. I haven't seen a lot of these games where they use decoys properly. They're normally you drop the decoy, and then you go to walk away, and the decoy still gets you killed.
Yeah, so the whole like there's a bunch of different things that come in, different tactics you can use, but that's kind of your core. I don't want to say weapons; it's not a weapon, but your core device that you can use to get past the stuff.
Let's see. Somebody said they like the drop-down look of the game.
Okay, cool.
And has anyone else got any questions other than really? Beaver asked, "Who lives on Drury Lane?" Is that I don't get that.
This is a music reference.
Okay.
I believe. I don't know actually, to be honest. It
Now
sounds
they're
like a
just
music
getting
reference. I'm not into my 70s music, 60s and 70s music, which is a lot of UK music was kind of massive in the 60s and 70s, where all the icons came from.
Oh no, I know what they're doing. They asked, "Do you know the Muffin Man?"
No! Ha!
Alright, with that, guys, I think our time is up with our lovely, lovely game designer here. So no more silly questions for him. He gets to run free, at least until we lock him in the basement. I mean, I didn't say anything.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. It was very nice.
Thank you so much for giving us your time.
No problems. And remember, all the people in the stream, to go and download it and try, even if it's not your normal habit, to get a friend round and have a go. Because we actually still need to know what's kind of not working maybe, or what's not obvious that's confusing, so that we can improve that and make it better.
And as always, guys, I'm going to put the link to this game and to their site up on the YouTube video when this goes out. And hopefully we'll have him back a little closer to the game getting released, and maybe we'll get to play with him.
Yeah, that would be great actually. So obviously we'll work on it generally, so we'll have more updates, and eventually, like I said, we will have online working, so that could be a lot of fun. Yeah.
And once again, thank you for joining us, and I will see you next time.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye. That was Honey Tribe Studios.
You believe. Do you believe?